In this video, we are going to look at the Women's College Basketball Freshman of the Year presented by Adidas. As I think this is shaping up to be a very interesting race, and well, these are the dog days of women's college basketball. They're lining up for the conference tournaments, and yes, I could do a video that South Carolina didn't look great against Georgia, or UConn struggled in the first half versus Creighton, but I think that's par for the course, and thought this topic was more interesting. Before we start, if you like the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. All right, let's get into this. So this season, the freshmen have been getting a lot of love, and it's deserved because they've been very impressive. The season started with a bang, with Malaysia Fulwiley and Hannah Hidalgo going head-to-head in Paris. In that matchup, Fulwiley stole the show with a behind-the-back layup and a no-look pass, but Hidalgo also gave notice that she was going to be problems for teams as she went for 31 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and also demonstrated she could hit the three ball, going 3 of 6 from three-point land in that game. In addition to those two other rookies were putting on a show in Vegas. First of all, Michaela Williams was basically the only LSU player that showed up versus Colorado, going for 17 points on 50% shooting, but as well, JuJu Watkins gave a large announcement that she was coming on the stage as she lit up OSU for 32 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block on 61% shooting and 50% shooting from three-point land. JuJu just tore up Ohio State in the mid-range game and transition. Like, that press just got destroyed. As the seasons progressed, Williams and Fulwiley have continued to be really, really good, but their opportunities haven't or been limited by their good team. So Williams has to obviously share the ball more with her teammates, and Fulwiley's time is limited just because South Carolina is so stacked. At the same time, Hannah Hidalgo and JuJu Watkins have put up ridiculous numbers because their teams need them to do so. Hidalgo is essentially taken over the lead point guard role from Olivia Miles and always has the ball in her hand and carte blanche to run the team as she sees fit. Southern Cal as well. JuJu is the best thing they have, and Lindsay Gottlieb from her NBA experience is basically clear out of the way. We'll get it to JuJu. She'll cause gravity and can pass and be a playmaker, but essentially she gets like the majority of their shot. I think she's averaging over like 22 shots a game, and everything goes through her, much like the Rockets' James Harden or Caitlin Clark of Iowa. Now, if you were going to make a case for JuJu to be Freshman of the Year, you would say she does everything. She carries Southern Cal. Her scoring is higher than Hidalgo, so she's averaging 27.5 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 2.6 steals and 1.7 blocks. She gets a lot of blocks. She's had a few turnovers, 3.7 per game. And the big tick against her that some would take off or might say, hey, she's only shooting 41% from the field. The counter to that is, well, her effective field goal percentage is 46% as she can hit the three ball and is shooting 34% from three-point land. And she's the best option Southern Cal has, basically. Now, I am not the first one to point this out, but her freshman numbers are very similar to Caitlin Clark's freshman numbers. Like, Clark was a little bit more efficient as her field goal percentage was 47%, and she was a ridiculous, like, she was 40% from three-point land. But there's extremely similar, like JuJu's a little bit better of a rebounder with 7.1 per game versus Clark getting around 6 per game. But man, they are, and that's what she is. She's basically a gunslinger, but in a different mold to Caitlin Clark, as she tends to have that Jordan Kobe Bryant type game where she uses her height and she works players to the elbow, and she feels so comfortable taking that, rising over her opponent and taking that shot from the elbow, just like she's like in a rocking chair when she does that. Now, the argument for Hidalgo would be, yeah, of course, JuJu is scoring slightly more points at 27 per game, but that's because she's taking 4 more shots than Hidalgo does, who averages 18 shots a game. And then the efficiency with Hidalgo is just off the chart. So 24 points, but she's shooting 46% from the floor and 36% from 3-point land. And this is not even looking at her other stats. So you would think she's small, she doesn't rebound. Well, she rebounds. She's getting 6.3 rebounds per game compared to JuJu's 7. Her assists are 5.3 compared to JuJu's 3.3. And then she is a beast in terms of stealing the ball. She's a menace, actually. So she's getting 5 steals a game versus JuJu's still good, though. JuJu's getting 2.6 steals, and JuJu's getting a lot of blocks, so 1.7. That's not happening with Hanah. So Hidalgo is putting up stats, and she's doing it efficiently, as her effective field goal percentage is 51% as well, which is ridiculous. As well with Hidalgo, it can't be understated that she's running the point. So it was impressive in the under-19 World Championships on the U.S. team. Like, she was one of the leading minute getters and was running the point on that team that had freshmen from college. Like, I think Lapolo from Stanford was on there. And when it was crunch time, they had Hidalgo in there. So you knew she was going to be special. So with all of this said, I guess you probably think I'm leaning for Hanah Hidalgo, who I do think is the more efficient player, but actually I'm not. And it's terrible on my part, because YouTube, you're supposed to take a stand and make an argument why this one's great and the other one stinks. But really, I would turtle on this pick, and it's been done before. So if I would go the Jason Kidd, Grant Hill scenario where you name co-freshman of the year. That was done years ago in the NBA, but even recently in 2020-21, Beckers and Caitlin Clark, they were named co-freshman of the year as well, but Paige Beckers was also named player of the year, so she got the daily double, if you like. I don't think that will happen this year, as I think Caitlin Clark will win player of the year. But interestingly, I think Hidalgo will make first team All-American, as I think she'll beat out Paige Beckers for first team All-American, as she has put up better numbers just slightly. So 24 points to Beckers 20 points, slightly more rebounds, 6 to Beckers 5, and assists are relatively equal at 5 per game. I mean, Beckers is more efficient, so she's shooting a higher shooting percentage at 53% from the floor and 43 from 3-point range. But overall, I do think Hidalgo's had a better season, and she won the head-to-head matchup. I know UConn fans will say, well, Beckers was guarding the, power forward. She wasn't on Hidalgo, but still, Hidalgo was the best player. I said it after that game. Hidalgo was the best player on that court that night, and I would think that's the ultimate tiebreaker. Now with JuJu Watkins, I don't think she can be on the first team All-American just because Caitlin Clark's in her way. If it's a true All-American team with the players in the right positions, I mean, they could fudge it and say JuJu Watkins is a forward, but I don't think that's legitimate. So I would think that she would have to be second team, in my opinion. Now it's over to you. What have I gotten right and wrong in your opinion? Leave your poison down below. Do you think they should be co-MVPs, Watkins and Hidalgo as well? Do you think Hanah is first team and JuJu second team All-American? All right, thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Good night.